Couple things that I do when I go into school night is that you look at the room. 60% of the boys that you will sign up at school night are first graders. Now I did it backwards, but this should have been my fourth grade table. But 60% of the kids that you'll sign up at school are first graders. So you obviously want to have more first graders sitting out. When you get ready to do a school night, if someone says, hey, I'll do a school night, what Jared's going to do for you, he will have a box for you that have everything you need to do your school night. It'll have your applications, it'll have rosters, it'll have everything you need to do a school night. So everything will be in one box for you. So I set the room up, make sure the room is set, because as the people come in, you've got to figure out what door they're going to come in. Obviously what I do is I normally put the first graders at the first spot, but I usually want to do that where that's more where I'm going to be talking from, because that's 60% of my crowd sitting out there at first graders. Fourth and fifths, about 7 to 8% are fourth and fifth graders. So obviously you stick them back in the corner, because there's usually not that many of them. So your bulk or first graders, second graders are about 25 to 30%. Third graders, 12 to 15, and then it goes down really quick after that. So that's kind of how you set the room up and make sure the room flows. As you came in, Debbie, there is one of the things I will have. Is it Debbie? Pretty good. I'll have a packet. I will put together these kits. I will have a parent orientation kit. I will have an information card. And we have mini magazines, and I don't have any mini boys' lives. So when they come in, they're going to get this. The instructions are sit at your table, fill out the card. I do not do an application, and I'll tell you why that in the back end. So this is all they fill out. So they're filling this card out. Before I start the meeting, I get all my yellow cards. So the Cub Pack can look at it and say, oh, we got 12 first graders here. We have 6 second graders. We only have 1 third grader and 1 fourth grader. So obviously you take the 1 fourth grader, you put it in the existing Weeblos den. You take the 1 third grader and put it in the existing Bear den. You have a den of second graders because you got 6 of them, and you take 2 dens of seconds. So but if you've got these people all in this room, you can't tell how many's what. So that's what the cards are for. That's all it does. Now, if you really make someone mad at the school night and they leave, you at least know who they are. So that's what I use the cards for. So it gives them something to do when they walk in the door. Once I get the cards in and everyone gets in, and I'm going to go pretty quick through this. We designed this little book to walk you through a school night. So basically, the first 15, 20 minutes, welcome them, glad you're here, we appreciate it, introduce yourself. There are 3 different roles of a person doing the school night. You need a person running the school night. They're the bad guy, they're the black hat, they're the whatever. The Cub Pack has a role. The Cub Pack, they're the white guys with the white hats on, they're great. They're the ones doing all this fun program, and they're welcoming them into our Cub Pack. And then you have a commissioner's role, that their job is just kind of make sure that the leadership is doing their thing. So you have 3 really distinct roles. I personally would rather not see a pack do their own. So Bob, if we can work this kind of as we go, as Chantel, is have a district level person running the school nights. The pack is there being the Cub Pack. And then the commissioners, if we have commissioners, so basically we would have 3 sets of people at a school night. I cover this book and I go through fairly quickly. Important information. I will stop and make sure they fill out this information. Our pack is the pack number, your district, my den leader. Don't know who the den leader is? We'll fill that out here in a little bit. Make sure you get the Cub Master's phone number, they meet and such. So you fill out that pieces of information. I flip the page, you got a lot of words. I say basically if you want to read all this, you can, but Cub Scouts are fun. Cub Scouts, we do fun things, we have a lot of fun, we go camping and activities, and all these different activities is what Cub Scouts are about. So I don't really get into this a whole lot, because they really don't want to say, well, Cub Scouting is for all boys, and I talk about Cub Scouting as fun. We do a lot of fun stuff. And I just move on, because that's why, they're already there. They know that Cub Scouts are fun, so they get there and they do that. I get into this advancement plan. This is where I talk about by grade. Now, I've already got the cards. I already know that I got 12 first graders. I already know that. Now, I look out in the room, you can't tell anything. So I'll say now, we're divided into grades because Cub Scouts are grade-based, and we got first grade, second grade, etc. So So all my first grade boys, I want you to raise your hands. And they're all excited, and they stick their hands up in the air. And I go, man, there's 12 of you. They already know, because I got the cards. And then I say, where's all my first grade parents? And they stick their hands up. And then I say, I want to thank you for volunteering. And everyone giggles and laughs and everything else, but I say, I'm serious. Cub Scouts is a family program. It's going to involve everybody. Mom, dad, brother, sister, aunt, uncle, grandma, and grandpa. Everybody gets involved in Cub Scout. If you're looking for a place to dump your son once a week, and I probably need to come up with another word than dump. It doesn't sound right. To place your kid. If you're looking for a place to drop your son once a week, Cub Scouting is not it. You've got to get involved. You're going to go camping with them. You're going to go bring refreshments to a den meeting. Some of you are going to be a den leader. Some of them are going to get involved and do all kinds of things. But Cub Scout is a grade-based program, and first graders are Tiger Cubs, and I cover Tiger Cubs, and I'll have a Tiger Cub book that I'll hold up and say, this is your book for Tiger Cubs, and you'll all wear an orange neckerchief, and so I touch tigers. And then I go to wolves. I said, where's my second grade boys? Boys haven't paid attention. They stick their hands up there all excited, and I say, now where's my second grade parents? And they go, and they're slow and stick their hand up. And then I'll say it again. Thank you for volunteering. Cub Scouts are a family program. Everybody gets involved. Then I'll do it for third graders. I'll do it for fourth graders. I'll do it for every grade. So they will hear it 5 times. That's Cub Scouts is for everybody. You're just not looking to dump your son and run. Cub Scouts are for everybody. If you notice the card, I get a lot of comments on this down at the bottom. I understand that parental involvement is vital to the success of Scouting. And I'll have some parents go, well, what do I do with this? I said, oh, just initially. All that's on there is for them to read it. I don't care if they say it or not, but this is just for them to read it. So I've covered by grade. I've gone through the grades. I'll talk about, so now we've got the grades, and I'll say, now, before we move on, I'd like to introduce Mr. Bob. He's our Cub Master. So I'm the one running the school. I'm now going to introduce the Cub Master. Bob, I want you to tell us some of the fun things that y'all's pack are doing. And we want to quit. 3 minutes. If your pack has some already planned out calendar activities, I know when John and I, 374 used to have, here's our next 6 weeks, or 6 months. Put it in their hands. We have this flyer, we got information about our pack. I have put that in the packets before. So when they walk in, you'll have the pack information, card, Boys Life is all together. So they've got it all at the very beginning. So the Cub Master talks about the fun things that they do in their Cub pack. That's now the Cub Master. I've already been the bad guy saying they all volunteer. So the Cub Master now says, here's our fun things we do. Here's all the fun stuff that we do. And this is where it gets a little touchy. I want the Cub Master to introduce all the leaders that he has with him, or she, with him that night. But I don't want him or her to introduce his leaders grade specific. So if you got some second grade boys there, and you got 6 boys, and you have Miss Den Leader Denise over here as a second grade den leader, and she's already got 7 boys in her den, if you introduce her as a second grade den leader, what are they going to think? They don't have to volunteer. She's our den leader. She's already got a den. So I introduce them generically. Our den leaders are Denise and Chris and Wayne, and I introduce the leaders generically. I don't say what dens they're with. Just a little trick, because once you say that there's my Frank's our first grade den leader, you're it. I might have 12 boys there, but now you're the den leader because you were introduced that way. So I don't introduce by den leaders by grade. Just a little trick that I've done over the years. Now, if you got the 3rd grade den leaders there and you only got 1 3rd grade boy, when we split up in a second, I'm going to send that 3rd grade den leader over to that 3rd grade parent and just go take care of them. So, once I've done that, so I've explained that everyone's volunteered, they've now heard what the Cub Pack is doing, they've seen that the Cub Pack has existing kids, they've seen that they've had leaders and there's people involved, they're not on their own coming and doing this thing. Then we're going to step into breaking up into dens. So before the meeting has started, I've gotten with Cub Master Bob. And Cub Master Bob and his committee has looked at the cards and they go, okay, we got 12 first grade boys, let's make 2 dens of 6. We got 6 second grade boys, there's going to be, so you have an opportunity to take these cards and kind of lay out how you want to structure the sign-up night. There are some districts, and some people have done in the past, is actually have filled out the den roster, they just lay it on the table. Well, if you have 12 boys and you have a den roster that's got 10 slots, number one, it won't fit. Number two, if you split into 2 dens, now you got to do paperwork again. Because you want the den leader to lead with the den roster, and I'll touch on that in a second. Something that I'll do in a school night, I won't have a whole lot at the table. I'll have my sample books, and I will have little leaders kits. That's not all I have. If you have a bunch of stuff, you'll have more stuff in your box. What I have found over the years, the more things I have sit down at my table, the more things disappear. You know, I get ready to do my leaving, where are all my books go? You know, they'll disappear.
So the box will have the books in it, or do we need to bring our own books?
You'll need to bring your own wolf, bear, tiger books if you have them.
Okay.
But everything else, you'll have a box.
The handouts are in the box.
Everything that you'll need except the sample books will be in this box.
Gotcha.
Now, at this point, is a lot of Cub Packs like to let the boys go outside and play. I asked with Chantel and I talked last week, and the example would be, if every one of y'all in here had a balloon, and you were thinking, man, just imagine yourself, you holding a balloon. Got Bob, come on up, and Bob comes up, and Bob said, well, we want to take all the boys outside. Now, all of a sudden, y'all going to hand Bob all these balloons. What's Bob going to do with 20 balloons? He's going to drop some of them, he's going to have to kick some out of the way. You can't handle 20 balloons. What if 3 people come in? You still can't handle the 20 balloons. How many of y'all like to take your sons to a meeting at night and they come home, they get ready to leave to go home, and they're sweaty, and they're hot, and they're smelly, because they already had their shower or their bath before they came? You don't want that. So I personally let them stay in the room. It makes the meeting go quicker, because they want to get the paperwork done and out the door. So once I've gotten to that point, and I've split up my dens, and again, remember 60% of first graders, and so that's going to be your bulk. Purposely recruit. There's one of the Cub Packs here that had, I remember 2 years ago, 3 years ago, had a Tiger Cub den of 18 boys in one den. Too big. So I will talk about the purpose of a den. The purpose of a den is to have a small group of boys that meet together on a weekly basis and have some fun. So if we have 12 first graders, we could have a group of 8 and 4. We could have 6 and 6. You could have 7 and 5. The trick is to just say, we need 2 dens of first graders. We want one den to sit over at this table, and you want one den to sit over at this table. Purposely split them. Let them go. I said, just wherever you want to go with your friends, go with your, but we need 2 dens. And we need 1 den of seconds, and we got that 1 3rd grader, and we got that 1 4th grader. We'll take care of them in a second. So I've now split the room up into my dens. So now I have this den of boys here, and I said, well, and I've kind of scoped the room out. So I've already figured out he's going to be our den leader. Because I've already figured the room out. And I've done that. It's kind of a fun game that I've come up with, because I'm kind of a sick person. But I've already figured he's going to be my den leader. So I'm over here, how many boys you got here? So I'm over here talking to him. And he said, well, I think we got 6. So all of a sudden he's starting to do something. Suddenly he's in charge. You got 6? Okay. How many of y'all got over here? And I've already picked the den leader out over here. And so I was thinking, how many boys? Okay, you got 6, that's good. You know, how many do you have over here? You know, sir, how many do you have? And, you know, I got these 6, okay, good. So you've already started kind of picking the room out of who you think should be the leaders. You know, it just, you can tell. Once I've split them in the den, and I will then explain, now you're in dens. I said, when you came in, everyone filled the card out. And I want to thank you for filling the card out, but this doesn't make us Cub Scouts. We're going to be Cub Scouts once we get den leaders. Once we have a den leader for each table, we can be Cub Scouts. Now, what does a den leader do? Someone been in here being a den leader. What do you do in real simple terms, what do you do as a den leader?
Plan a meeting.
Plan a meeting? It sounds kind of boring. What else do you do as a den leader?
Have fun with the boys.
You have fun. The job of the den leader is to meet with the boys and have fun.
Yeah, that's the biggest lie is the 1 hour a week.
I never have said 1 hour a week.
I know, but I'm just saying, that's the replacement lie.
Her recruiter told her it was going to be an hour a week.
I have never said 1 hour a week. So
No, you do say
the job of the den leader is to meet with the boys and have fun. If you don't have fun as a den leader, y'all wouldn't be sitting in this room right now if you hadn't had fun. So the job of the den leader is to meet with the boys and have fun. Now, if someone volunteers, we're gonna have to ask every den, this den over here is gonna have a den leader. This den over here needs a den leader, and this den over here needs a den leader. Den leaders, once you volunteer, we got a committee over here, Mr. Bob, Cub Master Bob's got these volunteers that have been doing this for a couple, 3 years that will help you through this process. So then I will say, now every table needs a den leader. Every table needs a assistant den leader, because you really don't want to do it by yourself. You need someone to help you. And then I will purposely over-recruit and say every table needs a committee person. So you're thinking, golly, I got 6 parents sitting here, and I've been asked to get 3 adults for every table. And I said, that's what we need to make sure makes Cub Scouting work. If everyone steps up and does something, Cub Scouting works. If you don't, it's not going to work. So at that point, I have my little packets. I said, once you get a den leader and you get the information, we can then become Cub Scouts. But now, parents, I want you to look at each other. I'm going to hush up, and y'all figure out who's going to be your den leader. That's the hardest part. That's the hardest part. Yeah, do rock, paper, scissors. I will then turn my back. I will come over here and look like pretend I'm doing something. What happens a lot of times is Cub Master Bob, he feels sorry for this table over here. And Cub Master Bob's going to come over here and say, well, how are y'all doing? And can I help you? And he sits down in the chair. And once he sits down at the chair with his uniform on, huh?
He's the den leader.
He's the den leader. Don't sit down. Don't, what I call, don't camp out. You come by and say, get someone to be a den leader? And you say, well, I think I was going to do that. Well, who's going to be your assistant? So I'm now, well, he's going to be my assistant. Well, great. Who's going to be your committee person? And, well, I'll be the committee person. And then I'll make a big noise. I'll holler and scream and whistle. And I say, I just want to let everyone know, we have a den leader over here. And your name, sir, is Frank. Frank's going to be our den leader. Congratulations, Frank. And we have assistants. Frank, your first job is to make these boys Cub Scouts. And so everyone's going to look around. All of a sudden, I'm now going to give Frank a den roster. I'm going to give him applications for all the boys. And I'm going to give him adult applications for the 3 adults. Mr. Den Leader, your first job is to make these boys come. Here's your applications. What I'd like you to do is to pass these applications out to the boys, to the parents. I made the mistake one school. I said, pass them out to the boys. It took me literally. He passed them out to the boys. All the boys had applications. And about 5 minutes later, he came over and he said, I need some boy applications. I said, weren't they in your packet? Yeah, but you told me to give them to the boys. And all the boys had them. They were wadding up and they were hitting each other. Literally, they were hitting each other in the head with the applications.
They were having fun.
They were having fun. So, give it to the parents. Have the parents fill out. Now, parents, once you fill your applications out, I want you to give your application filled out to your new den leader with your $12. Make sure you have your new den leader's number. If you look in the front of your book, you have a spot to put your den leader's number. I've now given all the leadership to this den leader. So the den leader is filling the roster out. The den leader is collecting the money. He's doing the whole thing. And I know some packs like to have the more of a control and have someone over here filling them out. But I've just kind of, over the years, figured he's now the den leader. If they quit, if someone says, well, I'm going to quit, well, you're going to quit to these parents if you were a volunteer. The parents now automatically know he's our first contact. Now, Cub Master Bob, I'm going to come over and say, okay, come to Bob. This guy over here, he's your den leader, and here's your assistant den leader, and here's your committee person. I need you to go meet them. So then the Cub Master now comes up, hey, appreciate it. Hey, here's my name, you got my name, and they're over filling the application out. And then I do this, I don't give them this packet of leader stuff until they have a den leader. 3 people. 3 people per table. Do they all stick in these? No. But usually you'll get at least 2.5, 1.5 of them will stick. I'd rather have 1.5 stick than go in. I know anyone from David here? Okay. 3 years ago? 4 years ago?
I think it was 3 years ago. I came on 2 years ago.
They said they didn't need any leaders. They just signed up.
That was 3 years ago.
They just signed up kids. And what happened to the pack about 3 months later? The pack came to Mike and said, we don't need any leaders. We're going to do our school night. So they already had it set. Mike couldn't go. I remember I couldn't go. And all they did is just sign up. And this is what I call a sign-up. Boys walked in the door, came to the table, filled an application out, dropped their money, went out the other door. And they probably signed up 20 kids. And it tanked. You know, they didn't have leaders, they didn't have people, they didn't have the structure.
And the next fall, we were starting.
We started from scratch. Right. So, getting the leaders. Now, if we had gotten 3 leaders at every table, some of those would probably have still been there. So, the purpose that I do 3 adults. Now, do they all 3 fill an adult app? I'm going to give it to them. I'm going to ask them to fill it out. The Cub Master is going to come out behind me and is going to ask them to fill it out. Will you get all of them? No. So now I'm going to go to the Cub Master and say, Mr. Cub Master, here's your den roster. I need you to go around or give your committee chairman or someone and at least make sure you get all the names of all the people at every den table. So you know, this is plenty to fill up. You know, there's a dozen lines that you can fill up for the den leaders. So once I've had, usually by 7:30, I'm done. Tables are recruiting. We're getting leaders. I start backing out because now I start passing it to the Cub Pack. The Cub Pack is theirs now. They start running with it. They have a leaders meeting. They do the things what they need to do. So that's the general gist of it. Now, what I'll do is when this table gets their applications filled out, and Frank's met his Cub Master Bob, and Cub Master Bob's got his information. Frank gives me his roster. Frank gives me the boy applications. Frank hands me the $120 for the 10 boys in his stand, or the 6 boys at $72, whatever it is. He hands them to me. I give him a copy of his kids. Here's your kids. Can you read it? No, I can't. Go ahead and take this one. I just want to make sure we keep the one that you really can read. So I want to make sure the den leader's got one that they can read. And I said, Cub Master's going to give you a call in a week. Thank you very much. Appreciate you coming. And they're done. They're out the door. If you take I'll pick on Klaus. Klaus was notorious. He wanted to line everybody up and have one table that they turned everything in. What was the year you signed up? We signed up 60 kids. Can you imagine doing 60 kids on it? There's no way. We'd still be there signing up kids. So I pass it to the adults real quick. I'll make sure the Cub Master knows, hey, I need you to have a leaders meeting within a week. Now, all the new leaders will get this leaders kit. And the leaders' purpose of this, it tells what the Cub Master is supposed to do for the first 8 weeks. The den leaders know what the Cub Master is doing. The Cub Master knows what the den leaders are doing for the next 8 weeks.
What's up, Cub? What's going on? What's up?
You got it. So everybody knows what everyone else is doing. So that's the purpose of this little booklet. So, and I will give, if I get 3 den leaders, 3 leaders per table, I will give each. Because one of them's going to be an assistant, one of them's going to be a committee. So they each get a piece of what's coming on. But the purpose that we came up with this is that if you're a new den leader, you know what the Cub Master's supposed to be doing. If you're a new committee person, you know what the Cub Master and the den leader, so everything is hooked together. So everyone knows what everyone else should be doing. And everything is pretty much driven to the website. If you want to see program helps, you can click on the website, it's going to take you to program helps. It's going to say you're a Tiger Cub leader or you're a Wolf leader, and it's going to take you to those program helps on the website. Once I'm done, any questions at this point? So we're in dens, we have den leaders are filling out paperwork. Yes, ma'am.
Can you go back through,
The den roster?
yes, okay, so you gave the Cub Master, here is your den roster. You gave that to the Cub Master?
I've given the Cub Master the leader roster. There's a leader roster that the Cub Master walks around and fills out.
Okay.
Okay? The Cub Master's walking around filling that. Don't wait till you get the adult apps from this one. Don't wait till you get the adult apps because you might not get some.
I have a question for you about adult apps, just because administratively, it's always a nightmare.
Good time.
The person running it, do they still have to take the front page?
The front page goes into the office because it's got the social on it, so we want to
Right.
protect it.
So you take that and you take the signature.
We take the front page of the adult app.
Okay, and the signature,
And the CBC part.
And the, yeah, the background check.
and
Make sure they sign those.
when the PAC turns around and,
And signs down here.
no, but I'm talking in a month, when they try to get their leaders registered
Mhm.
and those applications are not available because they've gotten lost in the mix.
What happens with these, what's supposed to happen when they go to the office,
I know, but,
what's supposed to happen is that this part goes with the den roster, that goes with the adult roster, in a folder in the office, and is all papered, all whole punched together. And it should be sitting there in Blackwood School Night, or 370, that's what's supposed to happen.
and because I know that we don't really process adult applications in roundups. We collect money for them, or we may not collect money for them, and any leftover money goes on your account, and then you've got all these people who have paid, but there's no money for it because we didn't turn it in with the roundup. I mean, is there
I've
a
done
better
it.
way? Because that's always a nightmare.
Well, if you're filling the den roster, the adult roster out, and Frank pays, I'm gonna right over here to you pay. Now, it can't get processed because it's not signed by the committee chairman and the TOT organization. So it can't get processed until that part gets done.
Well, they can do that obviously before.
Right. So
Take them.
Frank is paid, this goes in the office with his money, with his leader
So if
roster.
that leader roster gets filled out completely and the money matches up, then they will get processed.
That's correct.
Even, because we're not waiting on youth protection anymore, right?
We're waiting on signature.
Okay, but are we waiting on youth protection?
Yes.
Okay, so in order to get your leaders registered,
Certificate,
they need to, let's pretend that that's signed, it's signed by the committee chair, it's signed by it's paid, and it's at the office.
it can't be processed till youth protection.
It will not be processed until you turn in the youth protection certificate.
Correct. Now,
And
How many-
theoretically,
how
they
many-
should be able to match.
how many have gone in and tried to do that lovely My Scouting and it just kicked you out 6 times and you got so frustrated, said forget it? Okay? If your PAC is having that problem, commissioners, well, this would probably be a good commissioner thing, just put their lovely names on a training attendance report and turn it in. If you know they've done it.
Right.
If you know they've done it, put their lovely names on a training attendance report and say youth protection, turn it in. Because sometimes trying to chase 12 adults, little certificates, to try to get those turned into the office is a nightmare. You know, they come to a leaders meeting and they're going, oh gosh, I haven't done my youth protection. Either that or take do it during do a leaders meeting that next week and take the 12 new den leaders and say, hey, I need y'all to stay for, how long, if you did youth protection, how long would it take you to do it?
35, 40 minutes.
Say, stay 30 minutes, let's just go do it. Trade in their attendance report and turn the stupid thing in.